Action. Gosh, I feel like I got stuff in my teeth. Do I?
No.
Alright.
Is there any first thing you want to start talking about?
Anything on your mind? Yeah.
Any new discoveries within psychogeometry? Because I know that's something you are deeply fascinated with.
I guess not any new discoveries, just more so putting in more research and discovering time into stuff that I've already kind of like known surface level.
Yeah.
I've kind of been looking into more things like the periodic table and how certain elements, are geometrically shaped and formed, and like the idea of hadron colliders and particle accelerators that can morph and shape and create new elements.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting to me, because I think to myself, is there a way to do this without these machines? Is there a way to do this with like a mind technology?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're okay with me doing this, I mean, I just would like to take this time to help you get to understand yourself, help me kind of understand more of your beliefs too. What draws you to psychogeometry?
I guess just sort of like the mystique of it, the mystery of it, the idea of so much of it is so unknown, and it seems like there's a proof behind it, but it's like still widely misunderstood and unknown. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's esoteric.
Yes.
Known by few, and how do you think knowledge of that subject would help you in your life, your neighbor's life, anyone's life?
I mean, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that doesn't sound absolutely insane, but if we were to jump into the insane ideas, you'd be able to morph elements, at your sole desire. Through this process of better understanding how to morph and shape, say the geometry of the fabric of space-time, you might be able to warp through the dimension of time, in time travel, if you were to know these patterns, these yeah.
Being that it just seems like psychogeometry has been an esoteric art, philosophy, mathematics is even one too. I would say even mathematics. Do you think it's meant for everyone?
Absolutely. I think it's something that is going on all the time, nonstop, and it's like all of the air molecules around us have a geometric shape, and how to explain it? It's kind of like I guess I'm getting kind of lost here, because it's what I'm trying to explain, I don't fully know or understand myself, and but when it breaks down to like the idea of like molecules, the idea that like that you can talk to a plant, and that plant will grow better and possibly bear more fruit than a plant that doesn't have that same encouragement. It's, it's small things like this that can build up into big things, that possibly you could heal someone's disease and sickness through your good feelings, through your energy to them, through them, or whatever that energy exchange is. If you could understand that on a molecular level, or on a, like, if you knew what you were doing on a conscious level, it might help you on a subconscious level. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Where do you think sacred geometry is seen most?
Possibly in temples, and that's a real, like like, I want to say second-hand answer. It's more like a third-hand answer. Like, I've never been inside of any holy places, but from what I've heard is that temples and places that are like built on holy ground actually have different vibrating frequencies that are like more like, you know what I mean?
I think so, yeah.
It's got better vibrations for feeling and doing that kind of like stuff with your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like one thing that comes to me about sacred geometry, being someone who has an affinity for ancient Greek culture. If you look at their art, for example, a lot of it is defined by the phi ratio of the golden ratio, I should say, and that's usually determined by phi. Art that is harmonious usually incorporates that phi principle of the most beautiful art is usually one of harmonious, and that usually strikes that ineffableness within people. Now, you used a new word that I guess we can transition to another topic: frequencies, vibrations. What comes to mind when I say about frequencies?
I think of quantum physics.
Okay.
And my mind's a little, I've got a little bit of a bias right now just because I've been looking up, I've been checking this stuff out a little bit more recently. Like I said, doing research on stuff that I know on a surface level, but like getting to re-know it. And one of those things was the double slit experiment.
Yeah.
And just like this whole idea of this proton being shot at this wall, and the idea that it actually changes the way that it reacts based off of who's observing it, and based off of it being observed. This idea that like this is like all of the atoms that are around us. If you think about it on a scale like that like everything around us is being affected by us just by us existing. We being the observers is having an effect on reality itself. Reality's existence is a harmonious relationship. Yeah.
What makes an observer's influence more powerful than another person's?
See, now this is where it might be beneficial to have a knowledge of this stuff, because if you know how to use it better, you might have a stronger pull. But that, I don't think that that's always the case. I think that there's people out, in fact, I know that there is people out there that they don't know what they're doing on a logical level, but they have like some of the strongest spirits, and like you can feel their energy from a mile away. And it's just that, yeah, that it's an interesting thing. It's
I like to ask the grand pictures too, the grand picture questions. Why should someone learn to influence the energy better?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's hard to answer that.
Yeah, it's not an easy question.
I feel like if I answer it with anything that, like anything along the lines of oh, well, you should use it to lessen others' suffering and like make the world a better place. Like, that makes it sound like I'm trying to like make myself sound good or something. But like, if I say that, oh, well, you should use it to like manifest all of your wants and desires and like make yourself rich and famous or whatever, then it makes me sound like greedy and selfish. So it's like there's no real good answer. But I think that if everyone knew how to do this a little bit better, or at least knew that they even had this ability to like will things, to manifest things to I think that they would, I don't know, have a greater appreciation for where they're at in life, have a different perspective on life, and just, yeah, appreciate more.
Yeah. What's keeping you from saying along the lines of, if a person is to increase their awareness of projecting that energy to influence matter around them, is to solely do good and then better mankind?
It's hard to say that without sounding self-righteous, and I think about it, if I had this power to, warp and bend this reality better to and I had a better knowledge of how to do it, I would love to say that, I would fill every hungry belly, so that no one had to be starving anymore. But I would probably make it so that that I would win the lottery on my next on the next scratch ticket or something, like I don't know, like I would make it so that I got a really nice car given to me for free or something, and it would just be like, I think that would be what a lot of people would do if they had that power. But at the same time, and I think about it, and I think, shouldn't people have that? All the people that are homeless on the streets, shouldn't they just be given a free place to live? Shouldn't they know how to just like wish for that and make that be the case and make that happen? Like they believe, it's a possibility that their belief of them needing to suffer is what's keeping them suffering. That's a possibility. And if we had the know-how to change that possibility, like, we should know how to do that. Yeah.
Is suffering necessary?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think that some people suffer more than others, and I don't think that everyone needs to suffer as much as they do. Or, once again though, that's coming from a heavy bias for me. I've gone most of my life without suffering, and when I see people who are genuinely suffering, I feel like it's unfair. Like I'm living an unfair life. That like why haven't I suffered, and these people are, and it they shouldn't suffer that much, and I shouldn't suffer this little. There's like a dynamic that should be met in I don't know. I don't know. Or I don't know. I don't know what it's hard for me to say because I can't be the grand master of morals. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Do you think viewpoint has a lot to do with it?
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
I tend to think of it as this way, that optimism attracts positivity and pessimism draws negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
If this knowledge of how to use sacred geometry to its fullest ability were to be given to somebody, it would have to be somebody who would be very positive, who would use it for good, who would because I suppose if it fell into the wrong hands, it could be dangerous.
Let's move on to another topic. Where do you think we'll be in, I don't know, the next 30 years? Where do you think civilization is going?
Oh my gosh, you're going into a whole I'm glad that I get to have this conversation because this is actually a conversation that I have a lot to say on, and it's artificial intelligence. It's like this is not a 2-minute conversation. This is gonna be a long one. Like artificial intelligence is taking over everything. And you're saying within 30 years? Yeah, dude, it'll have everything. We'll have cyborgs within 30 years. Like, I don't know if we're going to have chips in our brains, but I feel like we're going to have like a robotic limbs. I feel like people are going to have like robotic maids. I feel like certain jobs are going to be taken over completely. Like you're not, when you go to like a fast food place, you're just going to like push buttons at a thing, and your food will like be made for you by a robot, and your drink will be made for you. There'll possibly be like one manager there to like make sure that all the robots are running well. But yeah, I'm thinking like there's gonna be semis that they're just gonna be like GPS operated AIs. All the semi drivers are gonna be out of jobs because semis will just like follow a specific route, and that's gonna save a bunch of money for companies that use semis. Yeah, it's wild, man. It gets even weirder when it gets to the romance aspect, and it's like people can like order artificial wives. They don't need to have like a person or a companion anymore. They can just have like a hunk of metal that just like tells them that they're amazing, and it's weird, man. it's so weird. It's technology has such great potential, such great possibilities. Like the idea of like traveling to other planets, and like the idea of just everything that technology has become. Computers, I love them. Driving cars, very awesome. But yeah, it's just it's not natural. it's all not natural, and it comes to a point where it's like someone has to draw the line at like where do you stop? Who knows? Who knows what that line is?
Sounds like we're heading towards a future of hedonism.
Yeah.
Attracted to pleasure but avoid pain.
Of course, but isn't that everyone's natural instinct? Yeah. So, here's the thing: if you get a chip put into your brain that basically gives you like all of knowledge of Google, so that you can just like, anytime that you have a question, you can just Google it in your mind. Wouldn't you want that? I mean, like, wouldn't you want that knowledge just like at the tip of your brain? Like, you technically are that smart now. It's weird. If you had metallic legs that you could like run twice as fast and jump twice as high, wouldn't you get rid of these weak human legs to like be the bionic man? Like it's that's the future we're heading into. That creeps me out. I don't like it. But maybe I sound old. In 30 years they're gonna be like, wow, you're a millennial or whatever. Like, yeah. Yeah, that's where I think we're gonna be in 30 years. I think that we're gonna be completely overrun by our own electronics. And I think that there's a good possibility that like all of the richest people are gonna try and like create domiciles on Mars, and try and live, try and have like a rich people planet. Cause yeah, I don't know how much longer Earth's got.
What do you think about the idea of being biologically immortal?
You would only want it if you could stay young. You wouldn't want to age. Yeah, and if you could stay young, if you could stay in like your mid-20s, yeah, I think that would be awesome. And you'd like go everywhere, and you would like, can you like not die, so you can like have a tree fall on you or something and like be okay? Is that part of the rules?
It could be. I mean, I just mean in the sense of you're no longer aging.
Okay. Because I was gonna say like I'd go skydiving without a parachute. like if I'm immortal, like I wouldn't even be worried about so many things. You could go swimming and be like, I'm not even gonna drown. Like I'm just gonna swim across the ocean. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean it would be a lot of fun. It would be really cool. Maybe at some point after like thousands, maybe even like a million years, you might get tired of like seeing everything, but like there's a lot that the world has to offer. Yeah, I actually get kind of upset that I feel like I don't have enough time in this small lifetime that I'll get to experience the whole world. I only get to experience this little tiny chunk, this little itty bitty story. Yeah.
Tell me about your school career and what's going on right now. What draws you to do theater, to do art?
It is so much my passion, man. It's funny that you should ask about my school and my art, because it's like these two things are battling with each other like day in and day out. I have such a hard time focusing on doing my schoolwork because I want to like be editing my videos, and it's hard for me to tell myself that my schoolwork is more important, because I'm like, what do you mean your schoolwork is more important than your videos? That's your life, man. That's your career. And I'm like having this battle in my head, and I'm doing my best not to fall behind in my classes, but I feel like I'm worried that I might start falling behind in my videos, and I'm like, I've got 3 dance videos right now that are in an editing process, because it takes so long for me to edit these videos. Perfectly good footage that, you know, I'm just like, it's in storage.
What is it that you want to do with theater and art?
I want to use it to make myself widely popular, widely famous, and I kind of want to do use my fame and my power to kind of like affect the world in a positive way, you know. Once I have a lot of money and a lot of like, what's the word, like, I want people to see me as a good person, and I want to do good things, and I like how Michael Jackson would do, like how he would use his money to do good things to help people. I would want to do something like that. Yeah.
What are 3 things that you want your subscribers, folks who watch this, to know about you?
That I love feeling good, and I want everyone that watches my channel and everyone in the world to feel good. Feeling good is the best thing to do. I also would want you to love yourself and to love your family, and love your friends, and love the people around you. So love, love, love. And then lastly, I'd want you to try something new. Try doing something new today that you haven't tried before. And something you might enjoy, but you don't even know. Yeah.
One of the people that I look up to is Emperor Marcus Aurelius. In his meditations, he would start off every morning with the question, what good shall I do today? What good shall I do today? I mean, being the leader of a ruler over thousands of people, over the Roman Empire, in fact, that's a hefty question. And then to love thy neighbor is what I wrote down on my notepad, of loving yourself, loving the people around you. It takes a lot of will to even love the people who have done you wrong, too, I would say.
Yeah.
And then to be innovative, too. Like I had said earlier, growth doesn't come from comfortability. It comes from being uncomfortable. It comes from seeking that which you fear to do, that which you're not normalized to do. What is something that you could be innovative about?
Something that I could be innovative about. Well, I don't know if this is the best answer, but what came to mind for me right now is I really want to have more people besides of myself on my channel, and I get so timid and so shy to ask people, to just ask my friends and be like, dude, I saw you do this cool thing. Would you want to do that for my channel? You know, and I need to be more innovative about that, I feel like. Cause this channel is not just about me, you know, it's about positive vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a quest to interview people and their talents.
Yes. Yeah, and because I really do want to become famous for my wild, insane dancing to dubstep. I do want that to kind of be my thing, but at the same time, that's such a small group of people that like actually that enjoy dubstep. I want to get people that enjoy all sorts of different talents, all sorts of different people doing different things, and just like having this like instead of like America's Got Talent, like the World's Got Talent, hosted by Terrence Davenport. You know, like that's yeah.
Thinking about some of your friends that you met on campus, how could you approach them and ask them, hey, would you like to be on my YouTube channel?
Well, there is someone that I did ask, and he keeps on putting me off. He keeps on like telling me that he'll do it later, and keeps on telling me that he'll do it later. But I've stayed on him. And I work with him. So I've kind of gotten kind of gotten to be the annoying coworker about it. Just be like, every once in a while I'll drop in a line and just be like, hey, so when are you gonna give me work on a video with me, and yeah, I do need to be a little bit more persistent, but I think I can do that, and I do want, and this is kind of like, I don't need this anytime soon, but at some point I would want more talents than instrument playing and singing. And I know that sounds so like needy, but I kind of want to get people that do things like skateboard tricks or like just different talents. I want like all sorts of different things, and but at the same time, I love that people feel comfortable enough to share their people who sing and people who play instruments. Yeah, I am appreciative, but yeah, everyone else out there, you need to send me some videos. Yeah.
Just trying to think some other questions to think right off the bat to ask. Earlier mentioned about working out kind of thing. That's something that's hard to be innovative about and just to stick to, honestly, is just that, what's the word? Integral. Yeah, to remain integral to that. I'm gonna work out and I'm gonna look like a monster. I'm gonna look great. For yourself, how could you be integral to that, consistent?
I need to remind myself what it's for, and that it's for my dancing. I'm trying to make my dance style even more creative, and it's like, for me to do that, I need to have a greater upper body strength. I need to make my body more like it would be so amazing if I could do a standing backflip. It'd be so amazing if I could do a head spin. It would be so amazing if I could do just so many, like a number of moves that I could incorporate into my dancing. And the only reason why I can't do those moves is not because I wouldn't, it's because I don't have the experience or the skill to do it. And it's like, I can't have that be the reason I don't go crazy in my dancing. My dancing needs to go above and beyond and even greater and further and stronger. And yeah, it's going to. I just need to remind myself to work out every night. Because yeah, I do let some nights slip by. Yeah. More often than not.
Mm. What's your ideal? Do you have an ideal of like physicality, what you want to look like?
Um, I mean, not much different than this. I mean, I kind of like the way that I look. Right now, I've got a little bit of pudge just because I've been being kind of lazy recently. But like if I looked like this and just had like a visible six pack and like maybe a little bit more toned, yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to be like a Hulkster or anything. Yeah,
Takes a lot of commitment to be that chiseled, that ripped.
yeah,
A lot of discipline.
yeah. I just needed like when people are doing those the windmill kicks, those what the flare, that's what it's called, the helicopter, yeah. Um, to be able to do that, to have like both my feet going around in the air while I'm like, that takes a lot of arm strength. And when I messed up my shoulder from that seizure, it makes me kind of weak in my left arm. And yeah, I need to do a lot of support training to get that back at a place where I could, yeah.
Yeah, if you're open to it too, it is definitely a transition to a new topic. Only if you're open to it, to discussing about it. How have things been for you after uploading your video on seizures?
Um, I actually got a lot of support for putting up that video, which I'm glad that I actually got support from people who they either suffer from similar things or they know somebody who suffers from something like that, and having someone speak about it just kind of made them feel more comfortable, and that I mean that made me feel really awesome, and so I was scared when I put out that video at first, just because I was thinking like it's I feel so vulnerable when it comes to my epilepsy. But after I put it out and I got the reception that I got, I felt a lot better, because just knowing that I helped even one person makes me feel a lot better about the work that I do. And yeah, it maybe I could do something for the seizure community at some point when I get more of that fame, or that we'll see, time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell when I first watched it, which was about 3 weeks ago when it first came out. I can definitely tell that there was a lot of, at least from my perspective, a lot of insecurity about that.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely is. It's going to a place of my weakest, like, I feel like I'm not in control. I'm not in control of my body when I go into a full grand mal seizure, which I've actually had one recently, and uh, I have to struggle with whether or not I even tell my teachers that I had the seizure, because I don't want to use my epilepsy as an excuse to try and get an extension on my homework. But at the same time, if I'm out, for the next 2 days because a grand mal seizure has my brain completely fried, it's like that is a valid excuse. But I don't want to be seen as weak because I have this thing, and it's so complicated, and it's this difficult thing where, you know, I'm expected to have a job, but it's illegal for me to drive a car, and it's just I'm always put in these precarious positions that just I try not to feel like sorry for myself, because I think to myself, there's other people who also are going through this. There's other people who have epilepsy who are going through this, and other people who have worse, you know, things that they're suffering. And yeah, this is just something that sucks, and it does. Yeah.
After you have one, how do you feel mentally?
Well, besides from the migraine that, like, when I finally come to, when I finally do gain consciousness, there's this like everlasting migraine that I would say is like 25 minutes, but it feels like an eternity. This migraine feels like it doesn't stop, and it's just like this evil pain. And then when you finally do come out of the migraine state, you feel like tired and like drowsy and wasted, and like you can't like think or like process things. You can hardly remember things. There's been certain seizures that I've come out of, and I can't remember my name. I can't remember who I am as a person. And yeah, it scared me, because I'm thinking like, I remember I had one when I was in California, and I was thinking to myself, I can't remember who my family was. I can't remember who I was as a person. And I was just like, what am I doing here? Where am I? And it's terrifying. I thought to myself, while I was in that state, I thought to myself, how, like, am I stuck like this? Am I, yeah. Thankfully, my memory did come back. But yeah, I think to myself, is there certain things right now that I don't remember because of my seizures? I wouldn't know that I didn't remember them. Yeah, it's very aggravating, and yeah, I wouldn't wish it upon anyone.
Do you want to just take this moment to say thank you for being open about it? It's not an easy topic to talk about.
Yeah.
I think it's very brave of you to even post on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, well,
you should be proud of that.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Do you see any shame in it that you have stress-induced seizures?
That's an interesting topic. It's hard for me to answer that, because I don't fully know what it is that causes the seizures. If I had a better understanding of what caused the seizures, and if I had like a concrete knowledge of, you know, what I could do to better prevent them, I might feel ashamed if I wasn't taking those precautions. But yeah, it's difficult for me, because like for example, the doctors have told me that it is not that my seizures are not from sleep deprivation. So I can go without sleep, and that's not going to cause me to have a seizure. But I do know that sleep deprivation does cause seizures for a lot of people. Should I go without sleep anyways? Knowing that it, you know, like, I know that I've been told that mine is not photosensitive epilepsy. Should I stare at a strobe light? You know, like, it's So it's weird to me because I think about this. I've been told that having a ketogenic diet can help stop seizures. I've tried having a ketogenic diet and I still had seizures. Should I still maintain a ketogenic diet just because, it helps with seizures? Like, it didn't seem to have an effect for me. So I don't really know what it is that, like, should I feel ashamed for not eating keto? Like,
I wouldn't say so.
right. It
A diet doesn't work for everyone.
I know, and it's. But if I knew what to do to stop my seizures, and I wasn't stopping them, should I feel ashamed?
No.
It's a interesting question. Because the doctors still don't know. They still don't know what's causing them.
Yeah. Well, if the doctors don't know either, you shouldn't be ashamed then.
Yeah.
Those are experts that you're talking to.
I know, and I think to myself that it's spiritual. I think that these seizures happen on a physical and on a spiritual level, and I don't know what exactly is happening on that spiritual level, but I think that's why it can't be described or defined with these machines. Whenever they're putting me in these giant tubes or whatever, these giant X-ray MRI machines. Yeah. And they're doing these weird like brain scans now.
Oh, the electrodes and
Yeah,
such.
yeah. And like all these things that they're doing to like read my brain, like they can't figure out what it is. And they're like they've tried all of their medicines and I'm still having the seizures. And it's just. What can I say, man?
I'd like to take this moment again to say thank you for being open with this kind of stuff. I think it's truly amazing to open about something that anyone would be insecure about.
Yeah.
Are we okay if we do an intermission right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to use the restroom real quick.
I did too.
Okay.
How long has it been going on?
Probably close to an hour.
47 minutes.
Nice. Okay. I like the idea of having notepads while talking because it helps me keep track of how the conversation is turning and such.
Yeah. Let me see here. I was gonna ask you something, but I'm having trouble remembering what it was.
It's so good. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What do you think of dubstep music?
There are some genres of it that I do enjoy. It's more of the harmonious bass ones. Melody is another one too. Melodic, I would say. I can't bring myself to like the hard bass ones though.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to see what the next generation of music is going to be because dubstep is, what would you say, relatively new?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I'd say most people, or a lot of people, don't even know about it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. It's always interesting to see the next generation of music. I'm curious what the next line will be. I mean, music has a profound effect on the human psyche. Uh, you can just listening to, I mean, from there are some music that invoke certain feelings through the use of words that are associated with memories. For example, if there's something that someone hasn't processed yet memory wise, like through experiences such as a bad breakup, for example, and a song brings it up, for example. Yeah, music has a profound effect, I would say, but I'm curious, will the next line of music that comes out bring us to a more harmonious sense? Because we know there's, like take for example binaural beats, how do you pronounce it, where you use certain hertz frequencies, for example, that can manipulate how you think, how you experience, and I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah. There's already artists that use binaural beats and like have created songs with those like beats, so that like the music that they make also has this effect, and yeah, it is going to be interesting to see if like, well, it's also interesting to think that like that there's these certain frequencies that have these certain like healing effects on like on a human.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting to me is that a lot of this music that's like on the radio doesn't have these effects. It seems like it's purposefully made bad, almost to like taint in a weird way, like on a frequency type of level. Yeah, it's. Sound is such an interesting thing. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on with sound when it with frequencies and vibrations.
I agree. Yeah, because there's such as like solfeggio tunes, which can be used to promote less stress, can promote a greater sleep. It can promote healing, for example, too. I've never looked into what would you say? I guess I don't know what the subdiscipline is called, but the music physics of that kind of stuff, I don't know. No.
Yeah, something that I've kind of been interested in that I haven't done too much research in is this. It's like a sonic levitator.
Yeah.
Or it's like this like acoustic generator, or it creates these like harmonic frequencies with sound that can like levitate small objects and like keep them suspended in the air. And once again, my mind goes to this idea of, I wonder if there's a way that people have found to do this without this technology, but have found to do this with their mind, through some sort of thought process, or and people say that there's these like ideas that that this is how people built the pyramids, is that like this is how they gathered these large stones and like moved them, is like with this power of sound, through this power of these like well performed vibrations and frequencies, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know that it's not true, and it's yeah. All I can say is there's something about it. When it comes to sound, there's something about it. And it's interesting because when it comes to that idea of like manipulating frequencies and like changing the ether we're coming back to that sacred geometry idea again of like, warping that space that's, that this space is a thing and it has a shape to it. Yeah, it's weird to think like that. It's weird to think in those dimensions.
Yeah, it brings the thought for me about the chanting that people do while meditating, for example. I've heard it usually referred to as the sound of the universe. Yeah. I think it goes along with what you just said, though.
Yeah, and they're doing that chant to like reach a higher state of mind, to reach that like higher state of consciousness. I wonder if that chant like is not only just like a frequency and like a tone that has like a physical effect, but if it actually like calls back to some sort of like spiritual device or like some sort of gift that was given to humans, this word Om. I don't know. It's who can know these things, right? I mean, it's all speculation, but the idea that through certain vibrations you could affect certain changes is a really cool idea. And if it were possible, I would want to know how to do it, and I would want to do it as much as possible. Yeah. And I think it is possible. So, why not try and pursue it, even if it's never been taught to me, like, throughout my school, Like, that doesn't mean that something isn't real just because I wasn't taught it in school. Like, that, yeah.
There's a question. What is real?
Whatever you believe in, man. Whatever, yeah. People make things real. Yeah.
I suppose it starts with the imagination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of like I was saying earlier about like reality is an existing thing, and it's like that relationship between itself and you, the observer. Yeah.
Why is there something rather than nothing?
Well, see, now that's another interesting thing, because this is where I have like no genuine knowledge, but I just have like speculation. My speculation is that there is nothing. I just don't know what it is. I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I can't speak on it. But yeah, if there is a nothing, it's the opposite of something. It's the
There's nothing really nothing.
Yeah. I can't even know that. Yeah, it's and if it is, and if nothing is, does it have a shape? Does it have a geometry? Does it have, no? Then there wouldn't be. It wouldn't be nothing. It would. Yeah.
When does that become nothing? When does that nothing become something?
Right. When does nothing become something? Yeah.
How would you define consciousness?
How would I define consciousness? It just kind of is. Yeah. I suppose if we were to continue on this idea of something and nothing. Consciousness is what like the epitome of something is.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that there could be a reality without consciousness. Like reality exists specifically for consciousness to like as an apparatus for consciousness. Yeah.
Or would you say the altercation of clock? How does a change in consciousness affect reality?
That's what I just don't fully know or understand, but from my studies, there is a way to what they call manifest. You know, there's a way to like have your intention be fully focused, and I've done it before, but I feel like I've done it unintentionally. You know, the things that I want to happen take place, even though I wasn't like trying to make them happen. You know what I mean? And then the things that I'm trying to make happen seem to have a lot more difficult time. And it's like when I did research on Tai Chi and Qi Gong, I learned this term Wu Wei. And Wu Wei is when you're in that perfect, like, that perfect mode, and like everything is going your way. You get all the green lights. You go to your favorite place, and they give you 2 of whatever you wanted, and they just give you 1 on the house for free, just because it's like it's your perfect day. And this is the kind of state that you need to be in to manifest. And it's like I want to know how to like activate that state like that, you know. And it's like that's I don't know if that's how you do it, or if you can even make it happen like that. But that's the state of mind that you want to be in when you manifest, because it's like that'll make it happen like that. It'll make it happen so much faster. And yeah, it's I wish I knew the whole logic behind it. Yeah. I feel like I have like a basic outline, and I'm like trying my best to like work with that.
Do you find gratitude about those outcomes being important?
It's like the main thing. Like genuine gratitude is very powerful. It's so powerful. Yeah. I would recommend that to anybody, is to feel that love, feel that appreciation. Sometimes just walk around. Sometimes just walk around outside and look at the trees in the sky and just be like, wow, this is amazing. And yeah, just that feeling alone, you will draw good things into your life. You will draw good, positive things into your life. Yeah.
You're someone who likes to dance, as made obvious by your content and your videos. Why do you think humans dance?
I don't really know. I've actually questioned that a lot myself. I think we actually talked about it a little bit on our first interview. You know, this idea of like, why don't animals dance, and how come humans do? And it's like there's this thing about humans that we like music, and I don't know what that is. There's some sort of like appreciation for art that seems to be like uh, like exceptional, like only humans seem to be this like creature that want that, like whether it's movies, video games, music, or artwork, like whatever it is, people want to be like inspired and in awe of other people's artwork. And I don't know why that is, but there's like this need for it. Yeah, and even to some degree, people want their food to be turned into art. You know, they want their sex to be turned into art. They want every facet of their life to be some sort of artistic creation. And I am a part of it. And I don't know why I have that need or that desire, but I enjoy it. Yeah. It's so strange.
What is art?
It's like anything that you can appreciate, anything that you can like that you can recognize that like this was worked on, this was, you know, this there's almost like an empathy to art where you can almost like feel what the creator felt when they were creating it. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think your hierarchy of values affects that which you value as art?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I definitely think so. I remember there was a point where I was walking down the street, and I think I was living in New York at this time. Maybe I was in California, but I was walking down the street, and I saw this cigarette butt that was crushed on and stepped on, and it was right next to this leaf that was right on the ground on the sidewalk. And for whatever reason, I was just like, I saw it, and I was just like stricken by the way that it looked. It looked beautiful to me. And it was just like this stepped on cigarette butt next to this decayed, dying leaf. And I had to take out my phone, and I had to take a picture of it, and anyone in their right mind would have seen me and been like, this guy's crazy, you know? And to this day, I even have I'm pretty sure I have that picture on my Facebook, because it was just like, I felt like that was beautiful. I felt like that was a piece of art. And I don't know why I thought that. That's my weird human mind. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you believe there's such a thing as good and bad art?
I think so. Yeah, I think that bad art has like a potential to like create bad emotions.
Oh, okay.
And it's also possible with bad art that like maybe that was the intention behind the art, you know, was to create bad emotions. With good art, I think I don't have to go too deep into that, because I think that the majority of artists try and create good art. But yeah, it's interesting, the conversation on like, if someone's trying to make bad art and they succeed in making people feel bad, is that a success? You know, is that actually good art? Yeah, yeah, it's kind of an interesting question. If someone wanted to gross you out and they made you feel grossed out, then was there, you know, did they actually do the right thing? Yeah.
Do you think the artist who creates those pieces of art, those expressions, are trying to speak something through their creation?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think most times when people do shock value type of artwork, I think that a lot of times is a cry for like attention or like wanting to be heard, and yeah, yeah, it's but that's an interesting thing to say because most people's most people who create artwork, you know, have a